What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from the quarantine zone again. And this time we continue our yearly Threat Signal interview. We are back with John Howard of Threat Signal, A Monolith, Archaea, Vice Versa, iLegion. What am I missing?
Oh, fuck, I don't know. I'm in like every band now.
I know, right?
Oh, you did pretty good there. That was good. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm impressed. But
Yeah.
this is a special interview because, last time we were talking, we were kind of like, the first time we spoke, we were talking about Disconnect. Then we talked last year about the A Monolith album, which was awesome. But this time we're doing like a celebratory interview. 15 years of Under Reprisal. 15 years since the world first really heard your voice, right?
Yeah, fuck. It's like old man balls now, 15 years, so I was like, what am I going to do to celebrate this 15 years, right? Because we can't play shows. So actually what you see behind me, I was actually just fiddling around. This is some of our mixes, original mixes from 2005 I pulled up because I have the hard drive from when we recorded that album 15 years ago.
Oh my God.
So I'm just dabbling with, I'm like, maybe I'll re-record some vocals or, I could do whatever, maybe release something special. So I'm tossing around some ideas right now.
So take me back now to 2005, 2006. At this point, I'm just entering middle school. This is the debut Threat Signal album. What was the thought process behind the making of this album? Because I mentioned before, like with Threat Signal, I'd be able to tell what would be off of Under Reprisal, what would be off Vigilance, what would have been off the self-titled and off the Disconnect. So what was the thought process at that time?
Well, okay, 2000, what was it? Late 2003, we started writing. I was going to college for like architectural technology. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I'm like, fuck, maybe I could design some badass houses. And then I just started missing music because I had I had my high school bands. And then I went to college and I stopped playing music for a year. And like a whole year, just not really playing in a band was just whack. So I got together with my cousin Rich and this local shredder, Kyle McKnight. He actually came to my front door here because he knew of my high school bands. And he came to my door and knocked on the door. Like, this is a long time ago, man. He had a fucking VHS tape of his tryout video in his hand. It's like a VHS tape.
Back in those days.
Man, I think me and my cousin Rich, we popped it in. because he heard we were looking to start a new band, right? And this was like in 2003. So we pop it in. He's just like shredding Zakk Wylde and Dream Theater. And I'm like, holy shit, this guy's a robot, and he just lives around the corner. So we really didn't know what we wanted to write. We just knew, fucking piece of shit. We just knew we wanted to be fucking metal, and like we all listened to Meshuggah, Soilwork, Lamb of God, stuff like that. But honestly, our fucking mindset was like, let's make music that we want to fucking crank up in our car, or like what we want to hear. See, we kind of went in a little bit blind and then just started writing, So I think one of the first songs was Rationalize. And then we had a song called Inane. And then there was one called Gutter Snipe. That wasn't released. It's on our demos.
Can you maybe pull that up on the hard drive?
Yeah, I did do a release of it. I found it because I have my things keeps fucking breaking here. Hang on a second. I always propped it. Okay, I'll show you.
These
I have this thing framed on my wall. This is like our first like EP thing that like we didn't really release, but I did this artwork for it. Let's see if you can see it.
Oh, no way.
It says Rationalize, Gutter Snipe, Inane. It's like John's copy. So that was the original EP that was never released. And then we released this EP, which had 4 songs on it. Rationalize, One Last Breath, A New Beginning, and I think Inane. I don't know if you saw that, but
yeah.
That was the beginnings. And that fucking little EP demo thing is all hand printed with our fucking inkjet printers. And we did the legwork, man. Like if there was a fucking Slipknot show, a Korn show, whatever fucking show in Toronto, we went down there, and our strategy was to stand outside of the door with all these CDs we printed and set and did arts and crafts put together, and we would hand out all those little demo CDs when people were leaving the show, because people want to rock out to something on the way home. But
yeah,
I don't know, that was kind of like the beginnings of us kind of writing songs and trying to break down doors and get heard.
Well,
because at that time it was posters and CDs and shit, right?
Well, what's unique about Under Reprisal is when you've heard a lot of metalcore bands like, and not to categorize you or pigeonhole you, I know some bands hate being labeled that, but for lack of better terms, like as somebody who like grew up with like Killswitch Engage, All That Remains, Shadows Fall, like a lot of those bands which I've compared you to. Like, it's funny because when you listen to like Shadows Fall, Somber Eyes to the Sky, or Killswitch Engage's debut self-titled album, or All That Remains, Behind Silence and Solitude, there's a lot of that sort of like trial and error, getting your feet in, experimentation, that rawness. But Under Reprisal just seemed like flawless. Like the way it was produced, the guitar, like I wouldn't change a note on the solos and counterbalance or When All Is Said and Done. Like it just seemed like like you had like a real good, I guess for lack of better words, formula working for you.
We started in late 2003, and then we recorded in late 2005. So like we were pushing writing songs for like 2 years, and it's like your first record, so we were just trying to come out of the gate strong, And when we first started, it was just the three of us, 2 guitarists and me, and I'm just trying to figure out how to scream properly, and and I was a huge Killswitch Engage fan as well. So I followed, Jesse, and still one of my top vocalists. Love Killswitch. But yeah, we fumbled around, and like we were very hard on ourselves as musicians are. We could listen to Under Reprisal and pick out things we don't like, but I would never change a fucking thing.
Yeah, and it's
I'm always.
But it seemed like at the time there was many different vibes on it too. Like When All Is Said and Done, I consider to be like probably the more melancholy song on the album. When All Is Said and Done, it kind of has like that very anger and sadness inducing it. I mean, it's a banger of a track, but like it does seem melancholy. But Counterbalance and Rational Eyes seems to be like, I consider those I've called it the metalcore We Are the Champions.
Yeah, right.
Like,
dude, like my Counterbalance was always one of my favorite songs.
I mean, that's one of
I always had to push for the guys. Come on, we got to play it like on this tour and that tour. Like, we got to play it on this tour. So I always pushed for that song to get in the set.
When you played on the Serenia tour in 2018, I remember meeting Oswin for the first time, and like before, and before I even shook his hand, I literally like pointed at him, being like, "You're playing Counterbalance tonight, right?" He was like, "Yeah." So,
it's surprising how much we get that. Like, you're playing Counterbalance, right? There's just something about that song. It's a metal song, but there's some emotion to it. And there's a little kind of rock vibe to it. Like, there's just some different vibe to it. And that fucking solo, like, I remember finding, like, Kyle did some demos of that solo. Like, it reminded me of, like, kind of like a Floods from Pantera. Like Kyle always had this vibe of, like, Dimebag in him for some reason, I always heard. And I found these demos of the Counterbalance solo. It wasn't called Counterbalance at that time. And I'm like, we need to write a song around this solo idea, so I brought that back into the table, and we wrote Counterbalance around the solo, which is kind of fucking cool.
The first one or the slower one?
Like, it's kind of the slower one.
Yeah. That is like
the slower.
It's like always an appropriate time to listen to that solo.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I was always a big fan of Floods and, Dimebag solo on that song. So it's like, that kind of gave me that kind of vibe. And like, whoa. We were big Pantera fans as well. Yeah. But I found like something that really helped us at that time, because I really think music is about timing as well. You can write fucking amazing music, but if the world's not ready for it or doesn't understand it yet, who knows what's going to happen? No one might hear you, but I think we hit it at the right time, and we were taking ideas from everywhere. That's why maybe it sounds a little bit diverse, but we were taking ideas. We liked a lot of Swedish metal, but we brought that over and combined it with American metal, and then our Canadian, whatever the fuck that is, you know. So I think we just hit it at the right time, you know. And I think a lot of people are calling like things gent now, you know. And I'm like, fuck, we were degenting before it was cool.
Oh, that the solo leading up to Inane, I mean, that is like I could easily see Meshuggah like doing something in the similar vein as that. So
no shit. Yeah, we were huge Meshuggah fans, man. Still are.
yeah,
You know, which is cool because the Monolith got Jens to sing on one of our songs, right? So, you know, we're buddy with Jens. So I'm like, what? No way, sick.
yeah. And they almost killed me and your drummer at NAMM in 2019 with the party.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh Ryan, yeah.
Oh my God, we did an interview and we were both so like, oh man, like that was my one moment, and never again.
Just way too. Well, when you hang out with Meshuggah, you got to drink, you know.
Yeah, they make the guys in Pantera look like gospel choir boys.
Oh fuck, I don't know, man. I don't even know if I could keep up with Pantera, man. They'd probably kill me.
Yeah,
but
like,
dude, I grew up watching the videos Pantera 3. Yeah. That's how I wanted to tour, and which I have toured like that.
well, what's funny is because like at the time you mentioned the timing, and you're right, because at the time that came out, what were some of the big albums in that genre that were kind of like taking off? You had Killswitch Engage was already ruling the earth with End of Heartache. You had All That Remains putting out The Fall of Ideals. Shadows Fall, I think, had Threads of Life out at that point.
Oh yeah, Shadows Fall. Dude, you know what's fucking cool? So on our first record, Under Reprisal, we only in Canada we signed with Sony Music. So the rest of the world was Nuclear Blast, but in Canada we worked with Sony, and one of the big records coming out at that time was Lamb of God's Sacrament.
Yep.
And Sony was on this like with Lamb of God as well. So we had dual promotion, man. If you walked in a fucking record store, you would see like right front fucking row, Threat Signal, Lamb of God. You know, if you go to a show, you go to see whatever band, there's like dual posters, you know, dual balloons, Threat Signal, Lamb of God. You know, like how crazy is that?
Yep. And it worked out great. I think 2006 is a very overlooked year for just music in general because of how much how much was like being plugged at that time. Like apples and oranges, but like My Chemical Romance was on top of the world at the time.
Yeah. I remember not liking really a lot of the shit that was going on, but like when I listen to it now, I'm like, it's so nostalgic. I'm just like, oh, cool. You know?
Yeah.
You know?
Feels good to visit the socially awkward days of junior high school.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But what were you feeling at the time of Under Reprisal? Kind of going back to the many different vibes behind it, because again, like there was anger, there was happiness, there was power, there was melancholy. Like what was kind of like your state of mind when writing those lyrics?
Well, to be honest, yeah, I was just probably listening to some bands I wouldn't want to admit. You know? Like I'd be listening to a lot of Cold Chamber and Korn. I was listening to a lot of Korn. A lot of rock music and shit. I actually listen to a bunch of Limp Bizkit. I don't know. I listen to a lot of different shit.
I have a hybrid theory tattoo, so I ain't gonna judge.
Oh, dude, Linkin Park. That's one I kind of hid for a while because I'm like, oh man, I'm supposed to be this metal guy, but I'm like, I'm Frank in Hybrid Theory. You know, somebody gave it to me. I checked it out and I loved it.
Yeah.
You know?
There was a petition for you to be the singer of Linkin Park, I think.
Was there? Probably. Oh yeah, I did that cover. Fuck that cover. Fuck. I was like just working. I came home in the afternoon. I'm like, fuck. Everybody for years and years and years. Everybody's like, you sound like Chester from Linkin Park. You know, when I sing higher.
Yeah.
Like okay. After like I don't know 8 years of hearing this, I'm like, fuck. I'll just give it a go and I'll put it out for fun. So I tracked it in an afternoon. Like did the vocals in about an hour. Made the video in about an hour, chucked it online. I'm like, haha, check this out. And then it just blew up. You know, it's like all the major metal fucking, you know, whatever websites are like posting it. I'm like, oh shit, what have I done?
Yeah. Is your hand on the speaker of your phone, by the way? You sound a tad muffled.
Oh, really? Because I'm holding it.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, now you sound good.
Yeah, now. See, now I'm like Canadian. I'm like, oh, sorry, man. Oh, sorry. Here, let me try this. Oh, never mind. I have this fucking gimbal thing, but it ran out of batteries.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
But were you kind of like writing from a personal place at that point in time? Was it like a do you consider Under Reprisal to be like a very personal album in a way?
Some songs. Some of it's more like frustrations with the world. You know, I don't like getting into politics, but I don't know how to really categorize any of it, man. Like some of the words I'm spitting out, I don't even know where they're coming from. You know, like when I hear the music, it kind of takes over and something fucking gets in me. And, you know, and also I really don't like telling people what a song is about, you know, because I kind of want them to have their meaning for it and, you know, take what they get from it.
Yeah, of course.
You know, because like Counterbalance, sometimes I go through different emotions when writing a song. Like Counterbalance, I was having like some fucking problems with the chick, you know, some emotions with like what the fuck was going on with the world, you know, maybe some other shit, you know, it gets kind of all jumbled in there, but then it turns into something else. You know, I could listen to fucking a song one day and get something from it and listen to it a couple of years later and get something different from it.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of hard, man, because like my head is just a fucking jumble of fucking emotions and craziness. And when I sit down, the song tells me what to write. You know, I don't sit and write poetry. You know, like I loved English class, writing stories and shit like that. But with music, it's like the song tells me what to write. Like sometimes I don't even know what the fuck I'm gonna say, and then my hand starts moving, my brain starts moving. You know, so I don't know where it comes from sometimes. You know, and then. But if you like listen to a lot of lyrics on Under Reprisal, there is some like positivity behind it too.
Yeah.
You know, I find that I'm like getting really negative and like this is bullshit, blah blah, this that. But I always spin it around and try to make a positive out of things too.
With every ounce of strength, I intend to survive this life, I think is
Yeah.
the music quote for these bullshit times, man.
Yeah, like I didn't realize I was doing that, but I was always doing that until someone pointed it out. I'm like, holy fuck. You know, you know, I guess I am. You know,
Those are the first lyrics I thought of when I tested positive. So, like,
oh yeah, fuck. Well, you're looking good.
Thank you.
Can you smell? Can you taste?
I can't, but I'm much better now. So,
yeah. Well, you seem normal, so that's cool.
Yeah.
You're not like a zombie. Ooh.
Yeah, more or less. More or less. And you also, with Under Reprisal, though, had Christian Wolbers, who at the time was with Fear Factory, produced it. So he had to have brought in a lot of great mixes to it as well, right?
Oh, man. Just the whole experience. Like, fuck. So the way that happened, how the fuck did that happen? We ended up hooking up with a photographer in Toronto. He heard our demo, and the photographer contacted us. His name's Omer Cordell, and he was Fear Factory's photographer. So Omer gave our little demo, you know, the little demo I showed you, he gave that to Christian in like 2004, you know, and then he gave him my phone number. And like, I didn't really have a cell phone I was using at the time, right? So I remember Christian called my house, and you know, I was living with my mom and my grandma, and I ran in my grandma's room because the phone was ringing. I'm like, hello, you know, hey, is this John from Threat Signal? I'm like, yeah. It's like, oh, this is Christian from Fear Factory. I heard your demo. I'm like, what the fuck ever, man? Like, I thought it was a prank call. Hung up. This sounds like a movie story or something, but it's stupidly true. And then he calls back. I'm like, holy fuck, it is Christian from Fear Factory. Because like, I'm a huge Fear Factory fan. We would always go see him play live in Toronto. But he called me. He's like, I love your demo. Do you want to come out to Los Angeles and record the whole record? You know, he told me that in 2004. And I'm like, well, fuck, we better start writing some more songs, you know? So like, it was just surreal, just how fast everything happened.
Yeah, he has a real magic touch. Like the God Forbid album that he produced as well was a masterpiece in itself. So
yeah, it's just being there in that environment. Like there's some fucked up stories. Like we show up, we're just already we're in La La Land, and like we didn't bring any instruments, we didn't have any. So he's like, okay, what kind of bass do you play? Oh, we play that the K5 Korn bass. Okay, he calls up Fieldy from Korn. We roll down to Korn studio, borrow a bass from Fieldy. Okay, that's fucking cool, you know. And then okay, we need a guitar. What kind of guitar do you play? Oh, we play this kind of EMG style. Okay, I'll hit up Slayer's Guitar Tech. We get Hanneman's fucking guitar. like, like the legit one he was playing. Like, what the fuck is going on? And then we go down and we record the actual guitars in Fear Factory's jam space. You know, I'm starting to sound like a fanboy right now, but you know, I fucking goddamn was.
and little did you know, you would end up playing in a band with Christian and Raymond. So
yeah, yeah, I remember that phone call too, and it was on my damn house phone. He's like, "So what's going on with the Threat Signal, man?" I'm like, "Oh, fucking nothing." You know, I'm just all bitter. Band member changes and shit. Nothing. And he's like, and I'm like, "What's going on with Fear Factory, bro?" He's like, "Oh, fucking same, nothing." You know, like, well, you want to start a band? you know.
That
just
album
going
was
through growing pains.
That album was lightning in a bottle. But you and Christian and Raymond and Pat played bass on it, right?
Yeah, you know what's fucking funny about that? Because it's like, okay, you got me to sing, you got Raymond, fucking like all these wicked musicians. Who's gonna be the bass player? So there were two names floating around that Christian wanted to have. One was the bass player from Mudvayne, and the other was the bass player from Limp Bizkit. You know, those were the the ideas on the table. And then I fought to have him try out Pat from Threat Signal. I'm like, if we make it Threat Signal Fear Factory split, not involve anybody else, it'd be a lot easier because there's only two different bands. You know, it'd be easier if like Threat Signal's on tour, Fear Factory's on tour. It'd be easier, you know. But Pat is like, I think Pat could shred circles around anyone. Like, he's one of the best bass players I've ever seen, you know. Yeah. So I fought to have Pat come out. You know, you got to fucking check this guy out. And then Christian was just floored, and that was it, you know.
Are you guys ever going to do another Archaea album? That album, we need to hear more of that.
Man, because over the years, I swear we talk about it like every year. Because like me and
I mention it in every
touch.
Interview. So
yeah. You know what? I was drunk one time a few months ago. Like, Christian, I hit him up, you know, just, Christian, like, we can't let this die, man. Like, we need some riffs, we need some music, man. What do you got? You know, because I wrote stuff for Archaea like a couple of years ago, and it was like, I can't really write the riffs that he does. He's like, you know, he's the Fear Factory Archaea riff master. And he's like, fuck, man, I got 2 songs I've been writing. You know, so he actually sent me 2 songs. So they're sitting right here, and I've been fucking with them. So I wish I didn't have to work a job and make some money, right? You know,
fucking life.
It's a, you know, see, I never quit, you know, but it's just hard to fit everything in the day. But I have a couple Archaea songs here I want to finish. Awesome. You know, so it's not dead.
And circling back to Threat Signal at this point, I have a couple more questions, but like, because obviously at the time, like, when I think of Threat Signal now, like, I love the combination of you and Travis. Like, and when Travis would play those Under Reprisal songs, I mean, Travis hit those note for note. I would watch videos of him play those solos that were originally written, and it sounds like he wrote them. But then, you know, he joins up for Vigilance. And, like, did Under Reprisal determine, like, what you would take? Because I consider the 2011 self-titled to probably be your heaviest album.
Oh, fuck.
But, like...
Yeah.
But...
Well, because fucking Kyle McKnight, like, solos, like, just so perfect. Amazing. Like, and then Kyle just decided he didn't want to do it anymore. You know, like, he did a bunch of tours, and, like, he put in his time, and you know, some people change and they realize they want something else from life, you know, so whatever. But how am I going to continue on Threat Signal without a lead player like that? You know, what's funny about Travis is, like, Travis found out we were looking to keep Threat Signal going. You know, we started talking about it on the internet. So people would try out. Travis tried out for the band, and I think he was like 16. And like, he was like so good. Robot shredder, nailed it. But I'm like, fuck, he's so young. Like, I don't even know if he can get into the clubs. You know? So stupid us. We're like, just like, okay, sorry, man. I don't even know if we said anything. We didn't get him. And then I think like some more time passed, and he sent in another tryout video, and he just blew us away. And I think he was 17 by that point. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck if he's 17. So that's fine. You know, hit up Travis like, fuck, you gotta come. He lives in Texas. So I'm like, you gotta fly up from Texas to fucking Toronto, Hamilton, and I try out. He's like, okay, let me ask my dad. He's like, and his dad flew up with him. And
I'm sorry,
yeah,
I just
so he comes in with his dad. Yeah. So I ended up shooting the shit with his dad, like way more than Travis. You know, like we're talking about Meshuggah and all these fucking sick shows. Travis is just this little quiet mouse. You guys, you know, but he picks up the guitar. He's like, just fucking destroys it. You know, but Travis kind of saved the, you know, Threat Signal moving forward with the lead kind of shit.
Yeah.
But for Vigilance, that's when Travis joined at that time. We were writing that music. Adam Weber wrote most of Vigilance with me and Pat. So Adam was mostly the songwriter for that point. Because Travis was still like a kid, and he shreds to fucking Petrucci and Wild and shit, you know. But he didn't have that feel like Dimebag or Kyle, you know. So once he fucking developed that, Travis kind of took over and made Threat Signal into like even more of a beast.
Yeah.
You know, but
and I consider,
I think Travis just kind of saved the band in my eyes.
He really brings his own mix into it, and I feel like it's most noticeable on Disconnect too, because I know he's kind of like the prog fan, so like, and that is definitely like Threat Signal brings, like I've always said, Under Reprisal is the end of Heartache. Vigilance, I don't know what to compare it to. I just consider Vigilance to really be like its own thing, but then I consider the self-titled album to be Slayer, and then I consider Disconnect to be Dream Theater, or Periphery.
Yeah, no shit, that's awesome, man. Because Vigilance was our like, let's have fun, let's write some rock songs, some fucking metal songs, let's have a blast.
Yeah.
And then fucking Alex Rudinger and Chris Feener step into the band for fucking the self-titled, and it's just a shred fest, you know. Like, that's a heavy record, man. You know, I took a step back on that one. I didn't write any music on that one. You know, I usually write stuff and arrange stuff. That one, I'm just like, all right, I have like the best players in the world. You guys make the record. I'll sing on it. You know?
That's really cool. And I consider Travis's, I mean, like the solos in a song like Hate Machine, I think are insane. Or In Repair. In Repair, that solo is kick-ass.
Yeah.
And then you also have, I mean, I don't know if you would call it such, but a ballad, Another Source of Light, that I think is really pulling on the heartstrings. So I think Vigilance
that is
was
kind of our attempt at a ballad.
Yeah, well, because I've noticed, like, I've always, when I first heard Threat Signal, I compared it to, you know, Shadows Fall, Killswitch Engage, all that remains. But talking with Travis, it seems like a lot of people resonate with you in the European scene, and I know you tour with like Dark Tranquillity and Soilwork and Arch Enemy, so it just seems like you were able to kind of fluctuate in those markets.
Yeah, we broke into the Europe scene like right away. You know, North America has been a lot harder, but even when we tour North America, it's with European bands.
Yeah.
You know, you know, we'll tour with like Epica and, you know, Serenia and Soilwork and, you know, Children of Bodom. You know, but that's so our first time going to Europe to do a tour, we headlined it.
Oh,
I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, so we had the tour bus and we headlined, and we're taking bands out with us. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, like, like we just, like, I can thank Nuclear Blast for all that, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'll show you something else here. Like, I'm starting to frame stuff because I'm finding like old shit that I haven't taken care of. I'm starting to frame it, put on my wall.
Were you on Nuclear Blast's Out of the Dark too? The All-Star sessions that Peter Witcher's like was producing, like that compilation album. It was like it's like Nuclear Blast's version of Roadrunner United, kind of.
Fuck, that sounds familiar. Probably because we talked to Peter a lot. You know, like we rolled through, where was he living? Arizona or something. He came out to see us. I think he was wanted to do a solo with us too. I don't know. Travis talked to him a lot, but I wouldn't doubt it. You know?
Yeah.
Big fan of Soilwork and his work. But like I was saying, Nuclear Blast really pushed Threat Signal. And back 2006, like we just played local shows, whatever. So, and like our first big show, they brought us over to Germany to play Earthshaker Festival. And when they were releasing our album, they made these. So anyone who bought like a CD or shirt at the festival got a shopping bag. And at this festival, this was on the shopping bag.
Oh, wow.
Album of the year, Threat Signal. And I guess it was coming out at the same time as a Scar Symmetry record.
Oh, wow. And wasn't that one of the first bands you toured with, too?
We were going to tour with them, but it fell through, and then we tried to make it up. And then Travis talked a lot with Pierre. He did a solo on one of our songs for the self-titled record. But, yeah, it's pretty awesome to have that kind of promotion. So I can thank Nuclear Blast for getting Threat Signal heard.
Yeah. Definitely. And then finally, I wanted to ask you this. We brought it up before, but, you know, like every time we talked, it was, you know, like promoting a Monolith with Threat Signal on the side. You know, I interviewed Travis. It was like promoting Kill. But you have a Monolith doing State of Being is a kick-ass album. You know, Travis is doing Kill the Lights. They're killer, pun intended.
Yeah.
But, like, is there... Threat Signal will definitely have new stuff in the future, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like, Threat Signal is like my baby, right? It's like, yeah, I created that thing. I gave birth to that shit.
Yeah.
So like, there's always going to be a form of Threat Signal. Like you've seen what the band's been through, member changes, management changes, all these changes. You know, it's just all about, you know, persevering, pushing through. You know, it's all about the music. But I think it was just a long ride, and we needed a little break. You know, to just kind of take our, you know, go our separate ways and do our things.
Yeah.
You know, but there's no falling out or anything. You know, we still chat and shit. You know, so when the time is right, it's right. You know, but right now, another cool thing is with a Monolith, I've got the go ahead to write most of the music. So you're getting a lot of Threat Signal, little bends and slides and Threat Signal vibes in the new Monolith. You know, working on a new EP. So I'm pretty excited about that. You know, like I love the first Monolith record, but I didn't really have much to do with the writing of the music.
Yeah.
You know, but now it's going to be kind of progressing into a different beast. So I'm excited for that. So
awesome. And we look forward to
more.
But
there will be more Threat Signal, I fucking promise you that.
Because Disconnect was one of those albums that it reminded me why I loved the first three albums, but it was also one of those albums that really made me want more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, I love that record so much, man. I'm getting that fucking tattooed on me. Like, we put so much emotion and just everything into that record, and like the stuff Travis wrote is just mind blowing. Like, I just felt like that's kind of like when he was starting to hit his peak with Threat Signal. You know, just the emotion and the heaviness and the songwriting, just everything. He would just keep blowing my fucking mind.
Yeah,
you know,
and the best album artwork too. I love that album cover.
Oh, yo, dude, it's awesome. Yeah, like it fucking goes well with the music. Like, it's a very deep record, man. It's kind of intense, but I love that record. Fuck, and now I want to listen to it. You know? Like, it's okay to listen to your own music. I love it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all. So
yeah, right.
Before we go, 15 years of Under Reprisal. This interview can't be the only thing that we do to celebrate it. Like, there's got to be like a reissue or merch or something.
Yeah, because fuck, I got ideas. I've been thinking about it. I was thinking about it since last year. I'm like, 15 years coming up. So like I was saying, I found the original recordings from 2005 that we did in Los Angeles with Christian. So I pulled those up, and I'm like doing a remix. I'm just mixing it myself. Of Under Reprisal, I'm just gonna do Rationalize for now, and then I'm gonna re-sing it, and I think I'm gonna get a guest vocalist to sing it with me, you know, and do like a video sing through, you know, something like that.
I could see you maybe do like a Lacuna Coil sort of thing with it, maybe, or something like that. Like you do the screams and have like Christina or Simone or Sharon Danadell.
You're kind of close because I'm talking to a female vocalist.
As soon as I turn the record button off, please tell me.
It's kind of an underdog, but she's a powerhouse.
Oh,
So
I'm
yeah,
excited.
I think she can make some moves, man. So
Awesome.
we'll see.
But John, always great talking to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You know,
too, man.
I pretty much grew up with Under Reprisal. I mean, you were working on it went before I was in middle school, and it came out while I was in middle school. So back when I was an emo kid with hair over his eyes, hating everything.
Fuck, I think I was 23 when we tracked Under Reprisal. So
I was 10.
yeah, no shit.
Yep.
My birthday was a couple days ago. I just turned 39, but
Congratulations.
still got it. I feel like I'm fucking 25, so what the fuck ever.
When I saw you play at the Serenia show while you were sick as fuck, and you still killed it. We brought it up in the Monolith interview, but like
that was the last show of the tour, and I was just beat the fuck up. I caught something, man. I was just fucking fucked.
Yeah, like, but at I remember you were
how I got up there.
You got up there. I watched you play because you played Elimination Process instrumentally, but then like and then you just jumped up and took the mic.
Oh, dude, because I heard music from outside the venue because I'm like sick. Like I got my hoodie on. I'm just like, oh man. I heard this music. I'm like, fuck, that sounds like. I think what the fuck is that Threat Signal? I walk in with my hood on, and I see my band just playing without me on stage. I'm like, no. So I took my hoodie off. I think I threw it to someone. I jumped the barricade, jumped on stage, like, fuck it. You know, I could barely talk, but like I don't know what I think I formed screams. It all seems like a blur to me now. You know?
But well, I will tell you this, because that was the first, and so far it's been the last time I saw Threat Signal. I've been waiting to see you guys forever at that point. And you know, me and Travis were hanging out, drinking at the bar, whatever. I got destroyed that night, but
man.
but like. It was a Sunday night too, and I was like 2.5 hours late for work the next morning. But like,
that's how you do it.
But and I work in the area where that venue is too. So, but like, I was like, I'm finally seeing Threat Signal, and it's gonna be an instrumental set. Part of me was like, all right, well, at least I get to watch Travis shred and watch Joey Muha do his thing and everything. But but like, and then when you finally jumped on the stage, I was like, this is one of the best things I've ever seen, and you killed it. You killed it. I thought you hit those.
Oh,
notes.
Really?
Yeah.
I tried so hard, man. And like, but the energy of that crowd, like as soon as they started playing, like, fuck, it's just not right for me to just hear this music and not be on stage, man. And then once I jumped that fucking railing, it's like everybody's eyes just lit up and the place went nuts. I'm just like, holy fuck. And it just kind of fueled me for the rest of that show, and like I died for probably 2 weeks after that show.
Well, that might be a thing for future live Threat Signal performances. Do an instrumental introduction of Elimination Process, and then jump up and do it.
Just kind of fool people, like, oh fuck, singer's not here.
Yeah. Well, you took the prog direction for Disconnect, so just play an 11.5-minute intro and then jump up. It works.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck. What Terminal Madness on Disconnect's like what?
10.5
long song.
10.5 minutes.
Oh, I love that song. Yeah. Fucking Journey.
But John, thanks again. Always great to talk to you. Everybody, John Howard of Threat Signal, Under Reprisal, 15 years. If you haven't heard that album yet, where have you been? You need to check it out. It's a masterpiece. We'll see you next time on Heavy